For fear of turning this little one-way relationship into an abusive one, I must remind you, nobody's forcing you to listen to this. You do so of your own free will. You can stop listening to me at any point, and you can delete me and forget me and expunge me from your life at any moment. And you might want to do that, because I'm trying this thing where I'm just turning this thing on when I get a thought in my head. I'm not going to edit these, because let me tell you, if I go down that road, these things will never leave my phone. If I start getting into editing, splicing them up and organizing them into really cohesive thoughts, forget about it. They won't even exist. Or they'll exist, but not where anybody can get to them. So, the thought that I had that made me push record this time was about how much my attitude has changed on patience and keeping people around that don't offer anything. Just probably 5 years ago on Facebook and social media, I had a policy that, if you're deleting or blocking people, you're not showing the proper amount of tolerance for divergent thought and different kinds of ideas. And I would talk about bubbles, and I still do. It's still like a major thought of how we create these bubbles for ourselves, or how technology or Google is creating bubbles, and so it's hard to be at all active in the world on social media, on the internet, without having to constantly think about what bubbles are, So 5 years ago, I would really employ a masochistic level of patience when it came to people who disagreed with me. I would just, and I still do to a certain extent. I still do. Like, I'll get in there. I'm a stubborn motherfucker, and I will get in. I'll go in for the long haul on an actual debate if the topic can be respected. If the debate topic can be respected, it doesn't get turned. But now, I'll tell you, my deleting, blocking trigger finger could not be more hair triggery and itchy. Like, I've gotten so good at identifying someone who's not going to bring me value, right? Instantly. It doesn't. I don't block and unfollow and delete people now. That my threshold is very low. It's like, if I can tell that your intent is not to add anything to my life and bring me a fresh perspective, or help me along the path of life. If I detect and I can tell that your position is to try to make me feel badly, that if I can tell that your intent, or if I detect, I can't tell because I can't read your mind, but if there's evidence there that your job is merely to antagonize, belittle, I'll just immediately delete, block, Maybe I'll go look at your profile to check and make sure and scroll down. And that's kind of typically what I do. I'll go, okay, who is this person? What's going on? Do they offer anything? And, I mean, newsflash, you guys could have all guessed this. Almost every time you do that, somebody comes in, takes a shit on a post, meaning they're not adding anything of value to it at all. No new data, no fresh, thoughtful position, nothing. Just a barfed out, regurgitated turd. Like it was a steaming pile of poop. When it landed on their plate, they ate it, it went through their body, and they're pooping it out again on my wall. And I can identify that immediately. Still, my patience now that I'm talking about it out loud, my patience is still probably too high, because I will click through to their profile and look. Almost invariably, a whole stream of fresh, steamy turds, or even worse than that. It's like it's a profile filled with nothing. In other words, they don't even put themselves on the line. Like everything they post on their wall is merely just a repost of something else. So they don't even dare to leave fresh piles of steaming turd on their own wall. They relegate those that the drive-by fart and run to other people's walls, mine. And so I don't have patience for that anymore. My block list, if I was running a professional operation right now, I'd throw my block list up on this video. Maybe I will. No, too much work. But suffice it to say, it's long. And so if I'm on somebody else's wall and I'm trying to have a debate on merits, and somebody else immediately comes in with, "You're a white male Nazi. That sounds like privilege." I don't even take. It depends on what mood I'm in. If I can show them for the fool that they are, and I can bait them into giving, if I can give them enough rope and they can hang themselves, I might play along. But if I'm actually trying to have a conversation with somebody in that thread that I kind of like, just immediately block them. Immediately. I mean, like itchy, and it just, does it feel good? I don't know. It feels liberating to be able to do that. I mean, one immediately thinks of the possibilities, like what if you could do that in real life? I think there was a Black Mirror episode about that, where you could just blank somebody out and never see them again, or fuzz them out. A little dramatic. But honestly, in real life, that never comes up. I've never gone through stretches in life where there were so many annoying people face to face that I wanted to do that. It's like that behavior is exclusive to internet, and we're getting back to hiding behind fonts and keyboards and not having to use your voice and not having to suffer any real consequences for being a total butthole. Anyway, so there's some thoughts on that. Hate to fart and run, but there's your steaming pile of poop for today. Thanks for listening.